You're watching City News 24/7. I am super excited about this conversation. It's that time of year where we spring forward as daylight saving begins this weekend. The benefit here is, of course, we're getting more daylight hours, but the time change also means we are losing sleep. So to tell us what impacts this can have on us, Dr. Dave Greenberg, a GP in downtown Toronto. Dr. Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I want to start with the analogy you gave me that 1 hour time change is compatible to what sleep we lose over the span of 6 weeks.
I finally figured out how to explain this properly, okay?
Beautiful.
As a species, we're very good at accommodating changes that happen slowly, but not things that happen quickly. So, for example, there's probably a lot of people that are watching this right now whose pants are a size or two bigger than they were at some point in their lives. Right? But they didn't have any pain from it. They just bought new pants. But if you sit down and eat a huge meal, the first thing you want to do is undo your pants because that's a quick change. So we're really good at accommodating slow, subtle changes, not so good at quick changes. The clocks change by about 10 minutes every week. Okay? And we get time to sort of get used to that. Days getting shorter, longer, whatever it is, right? We're getting 6 weeks of changes in one night. Now, which is sort of like having to undo your pants, which is why it's hard. The other thing is we know that 1 out of 3 Canadians are sleep deprived to start with. So then if you start taking a whole bunch of people that aren't well rested and screwing up another hour, this is going to lead to real problems.
Okay, so what are those real problems? Sleep is obviously an impact, but mood as well?
So when you look at sleep, sleep isn't nothing, and in some respects, it's actually everything, okay? I don't think you can be a healthy, functioning person without being well rested and without sleeping properly.
Absolutely.
So we talk about sort of 3 pillars. One is your physical health, one is your mental health, and one is your emotional well-being. And all of those things are impacted by not sleeping. Physical health, it definitely puts you at higher risk for obesity, for high blood pressure, which goes with that, for diabetes, which goes with that. It's very difficult to exercise on a regular basis when you're exhausted, although some of us force ourselves to. So these are all things that have impact on your physical health. Mental health, everybody knows that, anybody who's watching this who's had kids knows how hard it is when you're not well rested. And then there's the whole emotional part, right? So, when you go to the bank or you go somewhere and you're dealing with somebody and they seem kind of unreasonable, right? There's a really good chance that they're just exhausted, right? And that they're not really good at interacting because they're cranky because they're exhausted all the time. So these are the kinds of things that the impacts that it have and can make people's lives really hard.
I always tell people that this 1 hour time change alone ruins my entire schedule. It just throws me off. So how long do these impacts tend to linger for people who, are feel a little scared about that just small 1 hour change?
If you use the jet lag analogy, and as I said, it's not exactly analogous, but most people within a week or so are sort of acclimatized. The interesting thing is that I think that there's a sense that the fall one is easier because you get an extra hour's sleep. But in fact, I think what happens in the fall is people just stay up later and they don't wind up getting, the net is that they don't wind up getting more sleep. And for this one, it's plausible that people actually go to sleep earlier because they know that it's going to be hard and it may actually be easier on some level. Plus the other thing is, of course, is some people are morning people. Some people like the fact that it's going to be lighter in the morning, but it's not going to be lighter now. Some people think that some people like the days being longer at the end of the day. So I think those are all factors in terms of how people feel about the time change.
I'm paying extra close attention to this next question I'm about to ask you. What can we do to prepare ourselves before and after the time change just to mitigate some of these impacts?
Right. So the first thing is don't stay up too late on Friday night or Saturday night for that matter. So start getting ready for that. Make sure you keep your fitness up. Okay. Make sure that you've got your sleep hygiene taken care of, which is try and make sure that your room is comfortable, dark, no screens if those are the kinds of things that bother you. And then just over the course of the week, just be prepared for the fact that you may not feel 100%. And, you can modify some of your activities accordingly. Make sure that you keep exercising because it's really important. And then, this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. I love the end on the positive note. I feel like I need to get a shirt that says, "Don't talk to me. I didn't sleep well last night."
You could probably sell millions of them.
Especially on this day. Okay, Dr. Dave, thank you so much for chatting with us. Until next time.
My pleasure.